26th November 2021.
The next question, $1 million cash. One of the biggest moments in television history.
From news.com.au.
I'm Andrew Bucklow, and I've got news for you. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to win $1 million on a quiz show? Well, today we're going to find out. We'll be chatting to a man from Melbourne who did just that last night on Millionaire Hot Seat.
Anthony McManus. You've won $1 million.
He's going to reveal what really happened behind the scenes after he got the $1 million question right. We'll also be chatting to someone who comes up with the quiz questions for Aussie game shows, and he'll tell us about the best question he's ever written. And finally, I've always wondered what happens when people win a lifetime supply of something. How does that work? Well, we'll be catching up with a man in the US who won a lifetime supply of a product that's related to your private parts. Well, last night on Millionaire Hot Seat on Channel 9, we saw Anthony McManus win $1 million. He joins me now. Congratulations, Anthony.
Thank you so much.
What was it like going on a quiz show? Was this the first time you've been on one, or have you been on others?
No, it actually was the first time. My mother-in-law suggested I should go on because she sat with me towards the end of last year and we were watching and I kept answering the questions and she said, you really should get on this. So yeah, there we go.
And so what was the process to get onto the show?
Okay, so I had to send in an application online, and then it wasn't actually very long after that I got a message to say that I had a Zoom audition. So we did that, and then very soon after that I had a date to go into the studio. Unfortunately, that date had to change because of lockdown, but then eventually I did get in and we filmed it. But it was actually filmed in May, would you believe?
Oh, far out. So once you figured out you were going to be on the show, did you study anything in particular? Did you go to more trivia nights, or were you just confident that you had the ability to get all the questions right?
I didn't study at all. My head is just full of random facts and lots of trivia. That's all I went on.
So the episode was filmed back in May. It finally aired last night. You answered 6 questions correctly to win the $1 million. Let's just have a listen to the final question now.
You're on your own for $1 million. Which of these classic literary works was published first? A. The Count of Monte Cristo. B. A Tale of Two Cities. C. War and Peace. D. Les Miserables.
So, Anthony, you locked in A, The Count of Monte Cristo. Tell me, was that a guess?
It was kind of a guess, because really, to be honest with you, I wasn't completely sure of the answer. But what I did was knock out the ones that I was pretty sure were not the answer.
Right, okay, well, that's smart.
Yeah, well, Eddie often says that that's the way to play the game, so I thought that's the way to do it. But to be honest, I wasn't 100% sure of the answer, so there was a lot of luck involved as well.
That's $1 million gamble. You are a ballsy man. So take me behind the scenes. As soon as you locked in that answer, what happens? Because we saw the confetti go off last night. A lady came out with a check. There was a bottle of champagne. Did that all happen as we kind of saw it, like straight away? Or was there a break in filming after you locked in your final answer?
Who knows? I don't know. As soon as he said you've won $1 million, it was like everything went in slow motion. And then I was told, now stand over here and smile and look over here and have a photo taken here. And it was quite crazy. It was absolutely surreal. So I think it did happen pretty much straight away, yeah.
And you're a married man. Was your husband there with you, or did you have to break the news to him later?
No, nobody could be there because of lockdown. So it was crazy. I won $1 million and they were saying to me, are you okay to get home? And I'm going, yeah, I'll be fine. And all of a sudden I was standing out in the street with a bottle of champagne in my hand thinking, what the hell has just happened? So I didn't even call him. I just came home and I came in and he said to me, how did you go? And I actually was busting for a wee, so I ran to the toilet first. He didn't even notice that I had a bottle of champagne in my hand. And then I came out and he said, how did you go? And I said, well, I won fastest finger first, so that I got this check for $1,000. And I showed him the check. And he said, oh, good on you, babe. Well done. and then I said, well, I just kept answering questions. Then they gave me this check. And then I showed him the $1 million check. And he was like, oh, I won't say what exactly the words that he used. But it took about 5 minutes for him to be convinced. I had to show him a text from Channel 9 saying, congratulations, I hope you got home safely. And then he actually believed me.
That must have been an unbelievable moment.
Look, it still is. 6 months down the track, it's still quite crazy.
And so how hard was it to keep it a secret from your friends and family?
Oh, my God. So on the day of filming, they said, usually if there's a big win, it'll be on in a couple of weeks. So it'll probably be on in 2 weeks. So it's been 6 months of me not being able to say anything. So thank God finally now I can just kind of relax a little bit more and people will know.
And how long did it take for the money to land in your account?
Well, it will take 28 days from today, actually, to be honest.
Oh, that's
so I haven't got it yet.
You don't get it until the episode airs. I think that's the policy, isn't it?
Exactly. So once the episode airs, then I could be getting it in the next 28 days or so.
Will you just be furiously checking your bank statements for the next 28 days?
Well, maybe.
And what are you planning to do with the money? I mean, $1 million, what are you going to do?
I know, it's crazy. So Ron and I are still renting. So we've actually bought an apartment.
Oh, amazing.
So we bought a beautiful apartment which we'll move into next year. And I bought a new car. I've never had a new car before.
What sort of car did you get?
I bought a Toyota Corolla Hybrid.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, so very nice. Nothing too crazy. I didn't want to go, too crazy with it. So, yeah, and there's still enough left over for us to invest in, look after our futures. Anthony,
congratulations. It was so good to watch you win the $1 million last night, and enjoy the money.
Thank you so much.
Now, Adam Richard is a comedian, a TV and radio star, and he's also a quiz question writer who's worked on multiple shows, including The Chase Australia and Hard Quiz on the ABC. Adam, what makes for a good quiz question for a TV show?
Well, at Hard Quiz, we have a lot of joke writers and comedians writing for the show because it's the same structure, essentially, to writing a one-liner. So for me, a good question would be a question that when you hear the answer, just like a great joke, when you hear the punchline, you go, oh, of course. Like you kind of anticipate it. So when you hear it, it's not a surprise, even though it's kind of a surprise. So all the information in the question should be enough for you to go, I get that. That's exactly what I thought it was. Like if you hear the word Brisbane in a question about a politician, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be Kevin Rudd as the answer.
What's the process like from kind of a question being conceived to it ending up on TV in the quiz show? What steps does it have to go through in between?
Oh, so many steps. In a commercial television quiz show, because there is a lot of money on offer, lotteries and gaming oversee the whole thing. So everything has to be verified, above board. There can only be one answer. If someone answers something that could technically be correct, then you have to give them the benefit of the doubt and all of the money. So that can happen. At the ABC, it's a very different thing. The ABC is a news organisation, and we can't broadcast anything claiming to be a fact that is not actually true. Even though we're not a news show, it does kind of affect the veracity of the news. So all of our stuff has to go through the same rigorous checks. We have a verification team. We have, there's a bunch of websites that are on the no-go list, including things like Wikipedia, because technically, even though there's a lot of great information on Wikipedia, you could, as the question writer, go into Wikipedia, change it to what you want it to be, and then go, there's my source. I'm sure
Which would be genius.
I wrote that fact in there. So, yeah, anything that can change too much. So, we lean on books a lot still. It's very old school. Dusting off the Encyclopedia Britannica from 40 years ago.
And what about questions that you try and avoid? Are there boring types of questions that you never want to submit?
Names and numbers, deathly dull.
Oh, okay.
That's, I don't think I could ever write for Mastermind, but never say never. But just the questions go for about 2.5 minutes. It's like blah 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 blah, and then the answer is 7. It's like, what did I just sit through? I just sat through 20 minutes of Mark Fennell telling a story, and he got to 7. There's nothing interesting about the number 7.
So you want something a little bit more rewarding than a name or a number.
Yeah, like if it's a surprising name, like, when you're talking about which German dictator's favorite film was King Kong, you're like, what? Hitler? Favorite movie's King Kong? I'm all over it. But it has to be something surprising in the name. Like you can't, just someone's name, especially if it's a name of someone you've never heard of before, which we get a lot in Hard Quiz because we're dealing with some very strange topics because the contestants bring them.
Yeah, so just on that, so for those people who haven't seen the show, which would not be many people because it rates its tits off,
a little bit,
people
yeah.
kind of, they put forward their specialty topic and you have to come up with questions about that topic. How hard is that for you, who have never probably studied half these topics before, trying to come up with questions to stump the people who are experts in them?
Look, the very first topic I wrote in season 1 was about the human body for a GP. So someone who had 7 years of university study to learn about the human body and then had spent the last few years as a general practitioner, knowing new and interesting things about the human body, and I had a day. But I managed to stump her twice, so that's good.
Which either means you're great at your job or they're a terrible doctor.
Yeah. You know what it is? Like on Hard Quiz, the way we work is we look for the story first. Like we look for what's a fun story and how can I turn that into a question. So if every tiny little question is like jam-packed full of information because we're trying to tell a story in this tiny little question. But my favorite one from the human body, which I stumped her on, which was what is the more common name for the medical term borborygmi, which is just like probably something she never comes across. It's people just call it what it is, which is tummy rumbles. So that noise your stomach makes as it's doing its business is called borborygmi, which is an ancient Greek word and it's onomatopoeic. So it's a word that sounds like what it's doing. So the ancient Greeks used to go borborygmi because that's what your stomach sounds like it's doing.
Well, on this topic, do you retain all the information from the questions that you write or do they go out your mind pretty much straight away?
It depends how interesting it is, but a lot of stuff stays in there. Like to the point where we wrote a book that came out just before Christmas last year because half the questions we write go missing from the show because we kick out 2 contestants. So they've got a whole bunch of questions written for them ready to go and they're off down the shops. So we had all this spare information going begging. So yeah, the executive producer, the question producer, and I wrote the Hard Quiz book of the world's hardest asses.
Is there a question you're most proud of? Was it the tummy rumbles one or is there another one?
I did love the tummy rumbles one. There's one that didn't get to make it to air, which was about the sharks. Someone's topic was great white sharks. Sharks have if you look at it under an electron microscope, they have what look like scales up close, but they're made of enamel. They're essentially teeth.
Oh.
Shark skin, they're called dermal denticles. And so a shark is entirely made of teeth, like the outside and the inside. There's teeth everywhere on a shark.
And so you wrote a question about this, but it never made it to air.
Never made it to air. I know, dermal denticles never came up, but that's been one of my favourite ever things. To find out that, if you rub a shark the wrong way, the reason it can cut you is because their teeth. Like enamel is the hardest thing in the natural world that grows in creatures, but yeah, and their entire skin is made out of it. And they think maybe it's because when they're doing foreplay, they might bite each other.
I knew a guy like that once. Last question.
Shark mouth.
Do you use your powers for bad? Do you ever go to trivia nights at pubs and just blitz it?
No, people ask me all the time and I'm like, no, I feel like it's cheating. I feel like, that's my job. Like I was at a trivia night once I think at a disreputable pub in Melbourne, that a friend of mine was running, and he goes, "Oh, do you want to be on a team?" And I was like, "It feels rude being on a team," and because it was a music trivia one, and at the time I was a team captain on Spicks and Specs, I was like, "It's my job. This is my job."
Adam Richard, thank you so much for taking the time to tell us about what life is like as a quiz show question writer. I appreciate it.
Anytime, doll.
Frank Zarris is a fashion designer from the US, and back in 2014, he won a lifetime supply of toilet paper. Frank, how on earth did that happen?
I'll give you the short story. So I've always been pretty crafty, and one of my theater teachers growing up when I was about 14, 15, who I had her as a teacher, she told me about this contest that she saw an ad for online about making wedding dresses out of toilet paper. So I'm a big procrastinator myself. So I thought about the contest, and I was about 18, 19 years old when this happened. And she kept persisting, saying, "Hey, you should really do this. This is right up your alley. You can do this quick." So in about 3 days, I made a dress out of toilet paper, and I submitted it for a contest. And I became a finalist for this contest. And so essentially what the contest consists of is making wedding dresses solely out of toilet paper, glue, thread, and tape. So I made this couture garment, and next thing you know, I'm in New York doing a fashion show in a rooftop hotel with the beautiful New York skyline, and that's how it all started.
So what, you didn't win the major prize, or you did win the major prize?
I did not win the major prize, but as another prize, the representative of the contest, they loved the wedding dress so much that a few of us just got a lifetime supply of toilet paper.
So when did the first batch of toilet paper arrive at your place?
So I get a call about 3 months after I'm back from New York. And the UPS man, the delivery guy, says, "Hey, there's a huge shipment for you that we can't deliver. Do you mind coming and picking it up?" And so, I had no idea what to expect. So when I arrived at the shipment facility, they just pulled out a cart full of about, I think the first roll was about 400 rolls of toilet paper. and mind you, back then I had a Mini Cooper, so it was kind of hard to try to figure out how to fit all this in the car. So here I am in the middle of the night unboxing in the middle of a parking lot toilet paper, and I'm trying to figure out where to shove all this toilet paper. And so I'm driving back home, and I'm squished in, underneath my car. I can't go back and forth because there's rolls underneath. Right where the CD holder goes on the visor, there's toilet paper. So it's like a clown act. So.
And how often did these batches of toilet paper arrive for you?
So it happened for about altogether about 3-4 years is what the span that I would get shipments in, and I would get a shipment every 3 to 4 months. The fine line is, there's always that fine line is a lifetime supply wasn't necessarily a lifetime supply. What they did is they looked at my age, life expectancy, and then about average how much someone uses per year. And so that's what the number was. And, I was very happy for 4 years. So I was living with college roommates at the time. So I just remember, I had my side table was made of cartons of toilet paper. All the garage was stacked up with boxes, And for Christmas, everyone was really happy when I, just wrapped boxes of toilet paper. So they became great gifts. They became great birthday gifts and just gag gifts as well.
And so now you've run out, and now you have to pay for your own toilet paper again.
Oh, and it's now a crazy thing with the COVID-19 pandemic. We had in the U.S. a big shortage of toilet paper. And so it was, when I handed over the cash at the cash register, just for that 4 rolls, I managed to scrape out the supermarket. It was like, signing my life away pretty much, just to try to scrunch through just for 4 rolls when back then, I had no idea. If I would have known, I would have been a really rich man selling toilet paper.
So you won all this toilet paper from designing a wedding dress made out of toilet paper. Are you still doing that, designing wedding dresses out of toilet paper?
So yeah, this contest has been going on for about, I believe, 15, 16 years now. And this will be my 7th year. This upcoming next year will be my 7th year participating. And it's the toilet paper wedding dress contest by Charm Weddings. And we actually filmed a TV show for a local, a big network here in the U.S. last year, the Toilet Paper Wedding Dress Challenge on TLC. So it's been a big hit. And, it all just started from this little game of these two ladies, Laura and Susan, which I adore, and they've been a big inspiration for me. They started this contest, so it's just been a ride for me because it's just one roll of toilet paper has given me essentially a career and many jobs. So I'm so thankful for them. And so 7 years. Hopefully, I'm hoping that next year will be my lucky year of winning the grand prize. Are
you hoping to win the grand prize though, or do you actually just want another lifetime supply of toilet paper?
I think at this point I can take whatever. So, I just know I'll cherish the toilet paper more, and I won't give it out as much and as freely as I did.
Now, before I go, I went to a trivia night at the pub recently, and I'm ashamed to say that I got this question wrong, but I thought I'd just give you a chance to prove that you're smarter than me. Okay, so here's the question. What's the capital city of Canada? Did you say Toronto? Because that's what I said, but it turns out we're wrong. No, the answer is Ottawa. So there you go. Who knew? Not me. That's what we've got time for today. I'll catch you next time.